Welcome back to my channel on Land Matters. It matters that it is land, and there are matters on land. Like I've always said, we must begin to interrogate with a view to understanding or to finding out how we can dwell on this land, all of us, peacefully, and use this land sustainably for prosperity and posterity. My name is Abigail Mbagaya Mukolu. I'm a land and land governance expert practicing in Nairobi. On today's episode, last time I talked about leases. Now I want to talk about the process of lease renewal, because I know many of you are sitting with your leases, you're not carrying out the process, you're not embarking on the process of renewing your leases. Nafikiri wengi wenyu mmeogopa. Like I said, there's nothing for you to fear. You are protected by the law. So let's get out and renew our leases. So how do you renew your lease? I like always to go back to what the law provides for. The National Land Commission Act says that before the end of 5 years, the National Land Commission will notify you that your lease is expiring and that if you intend to renew the lease, and then you're supposed to communicate back and say, I want to renew my lease. Now the problem is that that may not be happening now, because of course you know that we still don't have our land data, our land information on a digital platform. So what is happening now instead, it is people who are coming out and saying my lease has expired, I want to renew. That is also okay. So what do? The law says that you make your application for the extension of lease to the National Land Commission. And the National Land Commission, when it receives your application, which will be in a certain format, there's a prescribed form provided for in the law. When they receive your application, what will they do? They are supposed to communicate within 7 days, either to the national government or to the county government responsible for the land that you're extending. Within 7 days, so they're supposed to do that, to notifying them of your intention to renew the lease. And that form has certain requirements that must be done. But now, in practice, and before I go about in practice, we also have the land lease renewal regulations that were printed in December 2017. Please also look at them. They tell you step by step the process on how you can renew the lease. Now, though in practice what happens is that after you've done that, many people, you have to go back to the county government. Of course, when you're making your application to renew your lease, you must ensure that you have paid all your land rent. You have paid your rates that are up to date, because they require a clearance certificate. You will attach a recent search to show that you are the registered owner of the property. And if there are any encumbrances or any caveats or anything, they must be dealt with at that point before that lease is extended. So normally also what happens is that the county government on its part also, they normally require that you also make an application to them. You also pay the prerequisite fee for the extension of lease. They also have conditions. Normally they will sit through their town planning, the town planning committee and the full council, and they'll approve your extension, your extension or even the renewal of lease, both processes, by the way. Once that is done, then this, when NLC has written and the county government has done its part, they cause certain there are letters that we call for circulation. They cause a circulation on your letters, the letters on the particular property that is under lease renewal. So for other departments, because this is a process of, let's say, consultation and some sort of public participation and consultation with all relevant stakeholders, they get a circulation of your intention to renew the lease, and everybody will give a comment. They'll give a comment on that particular application or on the extension or the renewal of lease. So once that is done and there is no objection, that means the Ministry of Lands will get, the the planning department in the ministry will get, the survey department, because they're also going to be required to do a new survey. They're going to be required to do a new survey. Then of course, remember, you have your approval already. There's no objection from the City Hall. So once all these circulations have been done to all the interested parties, these documents are then again forwarded back to NLC. In the meantime, when NLC gets these documents, once the circulations have been fully done, NLC will then sit and deliberate and give approval for the extension of the lease. Once they give approval for the extension of the lease, they must now again cause the land to be valued. They must cause the land to be valued afresh to determine the new rent that is payable by you as the lease owner to either the national government or the county government. So NLC will cause a valuation to be done. They will determine, normally you pay something called a stand premium, a lump sum. Then after that you have a yearly rent, which is a bit low. So you pay a lump sum plus the yearly rent. So NLC will cause the valuation to be done. Then they will determine the new stand premium and the land rent. Thereafter, they'll also give you now the new conditions. They're the ones now going to give you the new conditions based on all the comments that have come from circulation. For example, if you're in a place now where there's a setback from the road, maybe, or there's a change in the land use, or there are certain changes that have occurred in that area, they're going to take that into account at this time. So after NLC has gotten the new land rent payable and the land rent payable and the stand premium, they will then cause a letter of offer to be written out to you. The letter of offer will just say for extension of lease for LR number now. In fact, in some cases, when you do the extension, sometimes you get a new LR number. So they will cause that to be done. They will get you a new letter of offer. With that letter of offer now, you will sign it to accept it. Thereafter, you will now pay the stand premium and the land rent to the Ministry of Lands, They're the ones who collect all payments for land rent and rates on behalf of the national and the county government. So you will go and pay that money there. Once you pay again, then these documents will now be captured at the Ministry of Lands. It will be forwarded to their land admin department in the ministry, who will go through the documentation, look at the proposal file to ensure that everything is in order before they approve it for the printing of the lease. Now, thereafter, the lease will be printed. It's now still being printed by the Ministry of Lands. So the Ministry of Lands will print the lease to attach in the new deed plan and attach also the new conditions. They will be attached to the new lease. Then thereafter, once the lease has been printed, it will be forwarded to the Chief Land Registrar, who will cause it also again to be valued for stamp duty and then allow for the registration of the property to yourself. And mind you, as these documents are moving, you remember, they're also moving with all the necessary documentation that is required of you. For example, when these documents are being forwarded to the Land Registrar for registration, they'll need your PIN, they'll need your ID, they will need your photos. Nowadays, they take photos of the registered owners of the land. So they normally ask you for various documents which you must attach. Thereafter, once the registration is done, and then now you have your new lease. And now remember, I said NLC will have approved. So NLC will approve the new lease based on the other factors that they have. But again, they can also decline to approve your lease with a reason. For example, if your land is required for public purpose, and this is in the law, if your land is required for public purpose, the owner, the landlord of the landowner can refuse to renew the lease and say they need the land for public purpose. And also the law is very clear how this can be done and also what public purpose is. And if you feel that they've denied to renew your lease unfairly, you can also appeal the decision for them to relook at the decision they have made about your lease. So you can see this process is doable. The only things that I know sometimes it can take a little bit of time, but we must get out and begin to get this to be done. You have no reason to fear. Those fraudsters looking to land on people's leases, they have no room. And it's very easy to catch the fraudsters from the real property owners. So ladies and gentlemen, don't fear, get out. Let us get your leases renewed. And there are many land professionals here who can help you to get your lease renewed. You can consult a land use planner. You can consult the land economist. We also have the lawyers who are able to coordinate all these people. They can also act for you in the process of getting your lease renewed. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get our leases renewed. Thank you.